friends. So, I would like to introduce a new book, a curriculum book, throw a wrench into this situation of poetry that I've been reading lately. But it's not too far out of the wheelhouse. First curriculum book ever, you guys. Here it is. I purchased for myself. It is called Rhythm and Resistance, Teaching Poetry for Social Justice. And this is edited by Linda Christensen and Dylan Watson. Now, let's just talk about how cool the concept is for this book. Teaching poetry as a medium or a vehicle for social justice. I mean, come on, how cool is that? Um, and of course, rhythm, right? You get those musical elements, so you know I had to get this book. And of course, you can see I've read through it a little bit already. And so I wanted to give you guys not necessarily a sneak peek, but I wanted to read a couple of the poems that really spoke out to me. But before I do that, I wanted to give a quick overview of the type of content in each chapter that they're kind of going for. In chapter one, they really started out with a Where I'm From unit. And for those of you who don't know, the Where I'm From poem is I'm from, this, that, and the other thing. And it's all about, creating your identity. And that kind of sets the tone for the whole entire curriculum that you will find in this book. And it goes on to create poetry of the people, troubled times, the craft of poetry, turning pain into power, all these types of themes where poetry can do a lot more talking than writing an essay or um, asking students to just freely share something that may be painful, vulnerable. And so this is a great kind of entry point for many students. And so let's see here. I think I have an idea of the one I want to do first. Yeah, let's do this one. There's a section called What If? And this one particularly focuses on um, that big question for kids of where are you at now? And what if you lost what you have, like in terms of, like, let's just say your school is experiencing budget cuts and football is taken away. That was the theme of this poem that I'm going to read for you guys. And this was written by a student. That's one of the things I really like about this book is they don't just incorporate poems that have already been written by authors, they incorporate the student's work. And so this one is called What If? So here we go. What if there were no football fields or goalposts, no sidelines, covered with chalk and drops of blood and sweat? Who will remember? Sweat running into the eyes of coaches, voices of cheerleaders, like a chorus line being sung. The feel of a football caught and thrown? What if the hearts of thousands of would-be athletes are never recognized because there is no football? So this poem was written by a student athlete, and clearly a lot of personal background knowledge, uh, personal purpose when he was writing this poem. And you get tons of these wonderful, great examples. And Linda Christensen, she is actually a director of this writing project and is a part of Rethinking Schools. That is the people who publish this book. She's an editor. And I've been to their webinars before, and they're incredible. Good people doing good work, right? For the sake of our students, and that's what this is all about. So let me just skip to the other one that I wanted to read for you guys. This one is written by an actual author, by Mary Blalock. Don't hate me. This poem is called A Hand-Me-Down Name, and this poem is part of one of the first sections in the this book where they're talking about name, going back to that theme of identity and how students inherit a lot of things from their parents, and that includes sometimes your name and a history and a culture. And how much of that do you take on, and how much of that do you try to grow from it or, make better? And so this is a very deep, high critical level thinking question that students will have to think about. And this poem I particularly like, and I think it might be obvious after I'm done reading it, so I'm just going to get to reading it. So, A Hand-Me-Down Name by Mary Bullock. Mary. Mary was a hand-me-down from Grandma. I was the little Mary. On holiday packages, Merry Christmas, Mary, Mother of God, who was a strong woman in a male-dominated religion. Me, a lone girl, in a world of testosterone, because of her. It means sorrow and grief. I'm very sad about this. How does your garden grow? They often ask, with colorful fruit like the pictures I attempt to paint, and beautiful flowers like the poems I try to write. They had 3 little kids in a row, and the middle one's me, Mary, Mary, not always contrary. How cool is that? So many allusions being ALLUSIONS, and very familiar to my own personal style when I write my own poetry. And there's something to be said about allowing students to freely explore their identity, or taking it a step further as you go through this curriculum. And uh, let's see here. There's one section I'm flipping through here because I just started reading this book. Getting into craft, right, and elements of poetry that will be important if you're gonna do this type of stuff. Um, where is it? Oh, poetry of protest, right? Starting with identity and then moving to how can we use this, right? How can we apply this into the everyday world, right? That's a huge theme unit in here as well. Standing up in troubled times, right? All kinds of things. Singing up our ancestors, so you get incorporate that music. So buy it, read it, love it. Um, Rhythm and Resistance, Teaching Poetry for Social Justice. There's your free commercial right there, you guys. I love this book already.